Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Crowdsourced challenge. We're on an even numbered episode, which means no spin today, which is good because I've not gone through comments from yesterday's episode. Apologies, by the way, in another another version of the little feature, things what Dave managed to screw up in the previous episode. Yeah, I made a derp and an oopsie with OBS, and yeah, sorry for Robo Voice. I know what I did wrong and I fixed it. What happened was I have two different voice tracks that I use in OBS, because one is for when I'm like doing a stream, because OBS can't stream two voice tracks. One is for when I'm recording, so that I can do editing of the voice track or boost the game audio a bit or something. I'd accidentally recorded my voice to both yesterday and they'd become slightly desynced, which meant that Robo Voice happened. Because I actually look at the version of the video that's on my computer, on my hard drive, and yeah, that's exactly what happened. By the way, the fast track, if you were watching yesterday's stream, has been behaving itself since the stream. I've left it kind of going for what, half an hour, kind of on its lonesome, and it's been behaving pretty well. We are going to be selling some barley today. Just a couple of trader loads, just to get a bit of money up together. I do want to get, I've decided, a bigger cultivator, which does mean we need a bit of money, which is why I'm selling the barley. We're off to the Greendale stores, which is over there. And the fastest way to get there is via the shop shortcut. So we're going to be making gratuitous use of that today, and then we'll hopefully have a bit of time left over at the end to continue cultivating field 18, which I'm doing by hand because I'm insane. Also, I don't have a decent sized cultivator at the moment. I may, if we get the money together, I might, will bring the John Deere up, and not the John Deere, the cultivator up and set off to replace it with a bigger one. I'm hoping to get like 8 or 9 meters now. The seeder, I think, is also going to need to be replaced because I've only got a 6 meter seeder. I think that's a bit too small, so I'm going to try and get a 9 meter seeder as well. But I'm slightly becoming concerned by the costs that are going to be involved in actually seeding the field. Because, yeah, I'm going to need to be buying bags of seed as well, so there is some mild concerns happening right now. If all comes to all, I can sell off some of the hay bales, which I do know still need to be collected, but I'm not going to do it just now. I'm not going to count that as a crash, because those moved. I didn't know Oxy made those dynamic. That's actually really nice. So the best sell point is Greendale stores, and that's what we're going to be using today. We need to get together, what is it? 75,000, or as close as we can get, to get the Vaderstad carrier, which granted needs, oh, that's going to be super easy to get 75,000 together. Wow. The Vaderstad carrier, which does technically need 340 horsepower, but I think the 280 of the Deer might be able to just give it a bit of a tug. We should be okay with the Deer. It may struggle a bit on hills, and that is a mild concern, but I think it can do it just about. I've been assured by people they can pull the bigger plow that does need 300 horse, so I'm hoping it can stretch the extra 40 as well. I think long-term plans is to replace the Deer or the fast track now that the speed limit's in place of 40 kilometers an hour. Replace one of them with a bigger tractor, and I'm not sure which, but it'll be from the big tractor categories. The large, is it large or big? That it's large. It'll probably be like a 7R case Optum. But yeah, that's kind of the longer term plan now, once I can get a bit of extra money together. But right now I just want to kind of upgrade the equipment slightly. Because I underestimated the size that I needed. quite badly. I underestimated by a couple of meters. So if I can get the bigger equipment, for now I'll be happy, and I am going to plan on getting bigger tractor as well. Possibly actually swapping out both tractors for bigger versions in the not too distant future. The fast track, out of pure rage, is doing 20 headlands on that field later, so that's going to take it a while, because I got frustrated with how badly the fast track was dealing with trees at the end of the field, so got handed a 20 headland course, because that will guarantee that it's not hitting the trees and has space to turn around. In terms of things the John Deere is going to be doing in the near future, it is going to be cultivating. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do in terms of bale carting. I'm not sure how many bales I want to get rid of, how many bales I want to keep, and I'm not even sure which tractor I want to use to do it. All I know is those bales need to be moved sooner rather than later. I'm not in the mood for bale carting today and bale stacking today, so it'll probably be tomorrow's stream or today's stream and video. Tomorrow's video might be working with the bales. I might rent the Arcusin Auto Stacker or the Arcusin 4-stack to deal with them a bit faster and a bit easier. But the plan is they're going to be moved ASAP, because field 19 also needs to be ploughed. Because Oxy's evil. It also needs lime, so I'm going to plough it, then put the lime down, then cultivate it, then reseed the grass in field 19 for now. Or do I want to put crops in field 19? Would field 19 be better off with crops? I need a grass field is the problem. I think field 19 is going to stay as grass for now, even though I'm going to be ripping it up in the near future, because it's good for getting like both hay and silage out of. On that note, the silage pit does still need to be clamped. That's minus 100. You can tell that I've not actually gone out of game yet since yesterday's stream, because the GS toggle flight in the HUD mode is still on from when I was showing you guys the fact that the balloon says balloon. Which, if you don't believe me, just like genuinely go on to GS toggle flight in the HUD mode in game and check, or have a look in GE, and you will see that the balloon does legitimately say balloon on the side, which is interesting. Also, a fun little thing that people have started to notice is that at night, well, the people have noticed who check their logs, is that at night there is a cascade of errors in this map, and it's not something Oxy's done. This is an interesting thing. Oxy and myself and Landy think the Giants tested the map with the 1.3 beta patch. And by doing that, they unintentionally caused log errors. It's not something that was done intentionally by anybody, but it looks kind of like the log errors might be caused by something Giants might have done, not Oxy. Which would be a true first. The Giants have accidentally added errors to a map. And it wouldn't be surprising if it is something caused by the beta. Because Oxy did mention not long after the map came out that if you open it in Giants Editor 1.3 or a 1.3 version for Giants Editor, it causes that exact stack of log errors. So that gives me a sneaking suspicion Giants accidentally did a derpy. 48,000. We need 75 for the cultivator, is it not? Just double checking. Yeah, 75 for the cultivator, and it's 8 meters? 8.3 meters. Would I be better off getting the 9-meter seeder and just not cultivating the field? How much would the 9-meter seeder cost? So in... Where are cedars? Cedars. Cedars. Thank you. So the 9 meter cedar is 104, so that's significantly more, but getting rid of the 6 meter cedar would give me a decent amount of cash. Let's try this theory. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sell off the cedar, which is a very big risk. I'm now banking on being able to afford the 9 meter cedar. I could also actually sell off the cultivator because the 9 meter cedar is direct drill. So this is risky, but I'm willing to do it just to get a bit more work done at once, I guess. A bit less faffery in the fields. I have been on the lookout for a bigger plough as well, a 6 or 7 furrow plough that's in between the 5 furrow and that I've got and the next in-game one, and there just isn't one out there at the moment. Not on sites that I would look at anyway. Because I checked even sites that I haven't looked at before. Forbidden Mods, their mod team puts stuff up on the site, so that area of the site specifically I will be counting as good, as well as Modding Welt, or Modding Welt, modding-WELT. That doesn't have any of my mods that I look for that signify red flags, so I'm going to count that as a good site until proven otherwise. So I'll be looking at those two sites a bit more in the future and just kind of double checking that everything's above board with them. Which when I say I'm going to do some digging, it's literally I look for my red flag mods, and if I don't see any of them, they're fine. Even some of the red flag mods, they get linked to the correct links. Like CD Models, Chieftain Load Loader, that came out recently. That is on Forbidden Mods, however, I think it's Forbidden Mods it's on. It's on one of the two sites. However, it is using the correct link. It is using his original link, so that's fine in my eyes. It's just an easy place for people to find it and have the correct link. So I have zero issues with that, and I'm sure CD has zero issues with that as well. 40 or whatever you want to call him today. I'm sure he doesn't mind people using the correct link. It's his crusade, his campaign. I don't know what to call it. Not sound like I'm belittling him. His campaign against dodgy sites is basically the ones that make money off of his work, which I'm completely in. Get down. I'm completely in favor of, because that's just scummy. Yes, sell the vehicle. 116. We can afford the cedar. Okay, that's worked about as well as I could have hoped. So I guess the next job, because I only wanted to get like a bigger piece of equipment, the next job on the agenda is going to be getting seeds into this damn thing. So let's buy a few bags of seeds. Seeds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bags is what we can afford. Hopefully that's enough that we can get at least most of Field 18 done. Hopefully all of it. Now what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to just go into the garage and straight sell the cultivator, because it's just going to be in the way otherwise, and we've made 22 grand from that. Don't know how the hydraulics were working because the engine wasn't on, but okay. And I can't remember how this cedar deals with the big bags. Does it deal with them? It deals with them well. Apart from all of the... There we go. How to stop Big Bag from annoying you. Slam into cedar. That's looking suspiciously full already. If it does get full, I'm tempted to use the seed tender. to transport seeds and fertilizer around the map and just have that as a portable seed delivery method instead of using these big bags like everywhere. Because while I love the big bags, they can be a bit cumbersome if you're trying to get them around, especially with all the swinging they like doing. So is that all the seeds you can take? It's apparently all the seeds you can take. How many seeds is that? 3,000 litres. That's quite a lot of seeds. We should be good. So let's get this over to field 18 and get seeding, I guess. Wasn't actually planning on doing this today, but this'll work. The question is, what crop do I want in field 18? Let's go with oats, because I don't know, I feel like they'd make sense for this area. I don't know what's actually grown in this area, but I think oats would be kind of cool to grow. Plus, I really want... I'm speeding. I really want... I'm going to give myself a 100 fine just for speeding. I know there are rules suggested that are, like, specific speeding fines. Also, please do, like... give me, like, numbers for speeding fine. But, yeah. I need straw more than anything else, and oats are worth quite a lot anyway, so I feel like it's fine to seed oats. Big question is how the John Deere is going to cope with this. It's coping fine! It's coping surprisingly well. And just look at that seeded texture. That's one of the great things about an Oxy map, is like he puts the effort in to make the map look stunning. And I feel... it looks like somebody who said... I can't remember who said it, but somebody said that the MTA doesn't particularly like the dirt mod. Yeah, I think they may have been right, because that looks a bit questionable. Unless that's what MTA is supposed to look like on this map. I don't know. But it definitely is MTA working. I may need to do some tweaks to it to get it to look a bit less janky, maybe. So if it works the way that I think it works, I can tweak it. If it doesn't, then I'm screwed. But the seeded texture on this map is delicious. Like, people have been raving about the plow texture the last couple of days because they've been doing plowing, and I think this is the real star, the seeded texture, because it looks like a seeded field. It looks so realistic and good, I love it. Yeah, I'm still kind of shocked that we're actually doing some seeding. Kind of pleasantly surprised that John Deere isn't struggle bussing its way around with this seeder as well, because it's 60 horsepower. It's got a requirement of 60 horsepower more than the John Deere has. In theory, this shouldn't be working at all. But I guess John Deere Green gives you an extra 70 horsepower. Which is good to know, I guess. But you can see the real dirt mod working as well, because the wheels on the inside of the field are all getting dirty, and the wheels on the outside here aren't for some reason. I'm guessing it's because they're triggering as, like, not being in the field. This is gonna take significantly less than the cultivating did, by the looks of it. Or take significantly less time. It's probably going to need a refill, because I don't think 3,000 litres of seeds is enough. But if I were to... How much is the seed tender? How much actually is the seed tender? 20 grand. I've got 22. I'll consider that. I'm gonna think about getting a seed tender. Because it'd be kind of convenient to maybe have that on a smaller tractor. That I can just kind of run around the field to the seeder and get it refilled like that. like refit it up at the shop and just bring it down. That wouldn't make... It would make sense to me, but I don't know how many people would scream at me for it, so I'm not 100% sure. Oh, this is... Oh dear, this is uphill. This is where the John Deere is going to really struggle, because it doesn't have the horsepower, technically, to run this. Also, I do like the cultivator texture on this map. It's just easier to direct seed at the moment. Once I get like big enough tractors, because I do want this series to go on for a while. Once I get big enough tractors to run the biggest cultivators, I will be using them. And the amount of crops that we're going to get out of fields is going to facilitate us moving fairly quickly on this map as well. But I think the next purchase, in terms of big purchases, is going to be a bigger tractor. I think a plough replacement will be in order as well to the Lemken. Is it Lemken is the next plough up from what I've got? Yeah, the Lemken. And then... Yeah, I think a plough replacement first and then a bigger tractor. Then we can start looking into like bigger equipment again. And then more fields. And then smaller equipment for the smaller fields, because these are 3 of the biggest fields on the map that you start off with, so it's kind of a strange map where you want to start with bigger equipment and get smaller stuff as you expand outwards. Or at least I do, because I don't like using huge, big 9-meter piece of equipment on like smaller fields. It goes against everything I believe in. I believe in using equipment that is appropriately sized for the job, as opposed to just equipment that is big because I have big field. So the likes of this 9-meter seeder are probably only going to be used on the biggest fields. I'll probably actually rebuy the 6-meter, or maybe even a 4-meter for smaller fields again, but the 6-meter is probably going to be what I'll use for the majority of the fields once I rebuy it. And I'll probably go with that as kind of the main seeder as I move onwards. This just for the big fields. So that's... I know I've only done the one headland, but let's just go straight up. I know I also know that I shouldn't be doing headlands first when I'm seeding, but that's the way things went. Just wanted to double check this thing could run the entirety of the field. So I am very happy that we now have a seeder that is, I think, a bit more appropriate. I actually think, as comical as it is, that I want to go even bigger again with seeder. Up to something like the Saltaire or the Condor. Probably the Condor. But the problem there is I just don't have anything near the amount of money I'd need to use the Amazon Condor. On the bright side, we are getting progress made, slowly but surely, on this field, and I would argue we've made almost as much progress with seeding in this, like, last 10 minutes as we did cultivating for 20 minutes, half an hour in the stream. So, yeah, this is probably the better option for now, is just have a big old seeder. The next purchase is almost definitely going to be a bigger plough, because Field 19 still needs doing, and that's going to need almost definitely a bigger plough. Just so that I don't have to, like, spam one tractor constantly. Because, like, for the foreseeable future, the fast track's going to be stuck ploughing Field 15. So I'm going to be using this John Deere a lot. And it was an intentional move to swap them over, because, like, I know that I've been spamming the fast track and spamming grass work. So I wanted to swap out the fast track onto the field work and get the John Deere doing something else. And it was either cultivating or seeding, depending on what I could afford. And cultivating seemed like a good idea, but now that I've got this seeder, this is definitely the better idea. Because, I mean, You know, this is 3 passes. These 2 passes here are basically 3 passes with the cultivator that I was going to use. So yeah, also 3 passes with the seeder I was going to use. So this is definitely the lesser of 3 evils. And I'm sure there's somebody already after typing in the comments, Dave, you don't seed onto a plowed field. Yes, you do. I've seen people do it in real life. I've actually seen people do it with Vaderstads in real life. Like the field had just been plowed and they just go in with a seeder because it's a direct drill seeder and you can do it. You can get away with that. And it was, I think, seeding like... It was a grain crop. I'm not sure if it was wheat, barley or oats. Or maybe something a bit more left field. But most of the farms near me at least do wheat, barley or oats. Mainly like wheat and oats. Barley tends to be more up country where they're closer to Guinness. Around here there's a few different porridge factories, so oatmeal for Americans. So there's a lot of oats being grown. And a lot of wheat for the various bread factories in the country. So there's your interesting little fact about where my locality and local farming. There is also some corn grown very rarely. Quite a few potatoes because everybody in Ireland loves potatoes and there's no shortage ever. Well, there was at one point and that didn't end well for Ireland. But there generally now isn't a shortage of potatoes ever because they're one of the easier crops to grow in Irish soils. Apart from, you know, when there's blight conditions around and everybody starts panicking because potato blight. But generally speaking, they are quite easy to get to grow and to fertilize and to make sure that they don't die. And it's actually coming up to... It's actually potato seeding season at the moment, or potato planting season. Because ideally, this is something that I learned a couple of years ago. It's a local tradition where I used to work in County Waterford. It's tradition that, like, if you can get the potatoes in by St. Patrick's Day, I think it was, that you'd have a good year. So everybody was rushing to get the potatoes down by St. Patrick's Day. Because, of course they were, because Ireland is a very superstitious country, and tradition means a lot here. So it's kind of interesting to know the little local traditions and local customs and local superstitions, I guess. Especially when it comes to potatoes. Like, if they're not in by St. Patrick's Day, they won't do well. Ooh, it's nearly St. Patrick's Day. So yeah, I'd imagine there's quite a few farmers out with their potato planters. Maybe not at the moment, because it's, you know, 8 o'clock at night. Yes, I'm recording a bit earlier tonight because I am doing for myself for food, which means that I'm not getting handed food at like 7:30, and I can afford the time to record before I eat. But yeah, I imagine this time of year there's going to be a lot of farmers out and about during the day, planting down potatoes on their various farms, because there's probably similar local customs and local traditions and superstitions around the country that are like, well, if you don't have the potatoes planted by this day, then you won't have a good year at all. Begurra, begurra, why did I have to put on this voice? I'm Irish already. Yeah, this seeder was a good idea. I can't remember if somebody suggested I actually get this seeder in the stream, but if they did, good idea. If they didn't, I had a good idea. I'm pretty sure somebody did actually, and I knocked them because the seeder had a much higher requirement than the John Deere had, but it works. I care not. Also, this is, I think, this is gonna sound weird. This is, I think, the first time I've used this seeder. I don't recall using this seeder much in 17, if at all. And my memory fails me slightly, but I don't think I've used it at all in 19 yet, almost for sure. This might be the first time I have ever used this, despite it having been in-game for the last 2 years. It's an odd thought. Just looking at how much of the field we've done in a relatively short amount of time, I'm thinking this might be the seeder to just keep moving forward with on these two, the fields in this area. Because, yeah, it's not the fastest in the world. It's not going to, you know, get everything seeded in one go super fast and be done in, you know, 5 minutes flat. But that's kind of that's kind of what I'd like in a seeder, is like something where you do have to put in a bit of time and a bit of effort to get it all done, and you're not just pushing to get it all done as quickly as possible because you got, you know, 25 meter seeder and a 73 meter cultivator and a 73 furrow plow. You know, I kind of like having to kind of sit around and wait for the work to get done and have to sit down and kind of go up and down the field umpteen times and take like an hour to do the work. And I know that it's not the best for YouTube, but this is the way that I prefer working in the game, so deal with it. In any case, we're not going to get this all done today because I'm not sitting here for the next like hour and a half or however long it's going to take to get this field done completely off camera. But we will continue in today's stream, and we'll keep the good work on the go. I'll leave you now by saying I've been RainbowDave. You've been watching Farming Simulator 19, the crowdsourced challenge on Marwell Manor Farm. I'll be back tomorrow where we will have a wheel spin in tomorrow's video. And today's stream will probably be me doing more groundwork and more seeding. Until next time, stay safe and goodbye.